Welcome back, YouTube, to more MSQ playthrough. We are finally so close to wrapping up Shadowbringers. Let's go ahead and hop into it. It has been quite some time since last I set foot in Aziz's Law, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit? That's not. We had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied the relevant records, which is not to say I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her. Well then, MSQ is the person to ask. As far as I know, he's the only one of us who have met him face to face. Even now, she remains a prisoner of the Allegan Empire. Ever since the end of the war with Mericidia, yes. To have been held captive for so long. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragon Song War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wished to know if she had harbored thoughts of vengeance and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut turns undimmed. It torments her even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming here was out of concern that Tiamat had been forced to summon Bahamut. Midhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own, and I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls to me to watch over her. Tiamat awaits. This way.
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
I've seen it with my own eyes. Captives of a lost empire, neither alive nor dead, existing only to preserve Bahamut's corporeal form.
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished. Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
On the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
While proxies have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. You suppose we can find that information here? Why, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Alligans kept detailed records on all of the notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alphanode and the MSQ well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Sir Estinian, that I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star, though that is not my only reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make the first step towards a brighter future, and now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea. And be indebted to her for the leaves and hot water? I think not. I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand then? I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah yes, we are familiar with it. The Aetherical Chemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this, a spirit vessel, containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happen to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd. To explain, Brambros, Urianje, and I are researching the use of spirit vessels and the transference not only of memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines, and so I keep one at the ready should an opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, having identified me as of being of royal blood, and armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you, even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try, at least. Agreed. We will take good care of it. The flagship, then. Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in the current state. Our objective at this stage is simply to identify the relative node or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding. Data link and Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause, intruder interference. Advised deployment of automated combat units. Proceed. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Schedule Dragon Restraint maintenance due in Negative 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. I'm afraid Estinian and I have little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? I did, a node which smelled like burned hair. I know the one, though. I thought the stench more akin to a fire in a manure shed, but it seemed likelier to explode than grant our wish. Surely there must be another. Yes, a chirping node which spontaneously warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints. Spontaneously, you say? Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the note of which Graha spoke. And it was chirping, you say? Very well. Let us take a closer look. Do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? Do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the dragon restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family. Or those with a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. MSQ playthrough. Welcome. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanisms when ready. Error. Unable to disengage restraints to the specimen Tiamat. A system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it is asking of us? I could hazard a guess. Well, that's more than I can say. Confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. This issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So, this thing can release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it has received the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. How gratifying. But I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please. Let's see. According to the terminal, this central control system is presently employing software version 56.135. Dare I ask which version you are employing? Why, software version 42.002, of course. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time required for update, 5 years, 1 day. That is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate TMS restraints instead? The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. Well, I can't imagine it will have changed all that much. As long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to middle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes. It does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link pearl once I am ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may have yet use for it. Rest assured, I will be certain to return it to Graha once this is over. Just a little more work and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know. When Tiamat and her kin fought against the Allegan Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Ascians, and it was the same in Ishgard, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Ascians touch turns to ash, and thus you have made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? Will you try and reach out to him too? Enemy or no? Certainly, after I've wiped this smile off his face. Rather put my lance through his heart and be done with it. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be put to the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus? Far from it. This has ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship only to wish that you had dealt the killing blow. So, save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphanode has things in hand, he asks just we rejoin the others. Justinian told me all is well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alphanode's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Well, that all sounds rather frustrating, but you got there in the end. While you were off talking to nodes, Graha and I were learning as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. Our readings confirmed that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other beings equal, the treatment should work. The difficulty lies in the sheer quantity of aether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatments will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning, I'll need all the aether I can get. Thank you in advance. Although this endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic, namely that Tiamat shows no signs of fanatical devotion, suggesting a milder case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. Tiamat saw Bahamut as an equal rather than a god. Might have been made a difference? Now that you mention it, very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to the proof. Tell Alphano to disengage the restraints. Ethereal dampers. I'm counting on you, Angelo. Ah, such warmth. The frost that shroudeth my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alag. Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be that the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Resk, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Tell me of Bahamut and the Ascians. Ah, Bahamut, my beloved. Would that the peace we found in Mericidia could have lasted for eternity, but alas, it was not to be. The Ascians saw to that. In all creation I know of none more wicked. It was at their behest that the men of Alag first came unto Mericidia, unto our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing in search of a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Mericidia by the children of men, though many years were to pass before they crossed the seas. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I had found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of the Sharlayan scholar Rurusha. She posits that man first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era. Correctly, it would appear, if you only were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. When first the children of man arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held dominion. Such was their fear of dragonkind. And as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. Yet, as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren who divided the vast land amongst themselves. For a time, they knew peace and prosperity. But as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem, and so they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to the strife. Till one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede in their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony too were fated to end. For the men of Alag slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Ascians. The rest thou knowest only too well. Your tale doesn't have to end there. When you are free, we'll rid the world of the Ascians together, and you and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watch from above. If the treatments fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear when this is over. Keep going, Alice. The magic is working. While I knew this wasn't going to be easy, no patient could have me prepared for me treating a great worm. But we're close, I can feel it. And while I've only got a few more drops of aether left to give, with yours and Graha's, this will work. And I believe I speak for both of us when I say that you may take as much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. Alright, here I go.
This is it, Angelo! Did it work?
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed. Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
Slusk an all fall kail an. Slusk saith som in an. After 10. More old. One.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
She's in an enemy.
Alphino's ready. It's time. Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
Mahmud Uljas Ul Asa Vesk
By the gods!
Urianger, your timing could not be better. Understood, we're on our way. It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan. He flies for the largest amount of settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
Okay, kind of badass. You didn't wait for the airship. Well, I'm sure you're desperate to join Estinian and Tiamat in battle. It would be wise to gather the full strength of the Scions first. The foe we face demands no less. I've already sent word to the others. We are to rendezvous in Old Daw at the Hold of Flames. Let us collect Alphinaud and be on our way. Now, I know some of you could do with a rest, but I'm sorry to say the Telephoroi have other plans. Paglethon is already under siege. Happily, the Immortal Flames arrived just in time to join the defensive effort, with Marshal Terrapin at the head. Well now, given the failure of the peace negotiations, I was uncertain how the Sultanate would respond. It is good to hear that Ulta has not abandoned the Amalsha. Abandoned them? Did we not profess to be their friends? Your Grace. Marshal Terrapin had made provisions for such an exigency and was ready to depart at a moment's notice. All that was required was the agreement of the Syndicate, each of whom voted in favor of intervention. Nor is Ulda alone in its resolve. The other Alliance nations have likewise dispatched their troops to Paglethon. Yet even with our combined strength we shall be sorely tested, for we face not only the might of the Imperial Legion, but Lunar Bahamut and his draconic horde besides. Tiamat's children. Fight as we may, victory is by no means assured, but not all of the omens are grim. Our forces report that despite their proximity to Lunar Bahamut, none of the Amalja show any signs of tempering. Strange. What primal would turn down a chance to claim new thralls? Unless it's incapable of doing so. Primals are not wont to serve a master, Ascian or otherwise. It may well be that Lunar Bahamut differs in some fundamental manner from those we have previously encountered. If that were true, anyone could fight him, and Amask and others like him wouldn't have to shoulder the burden alone. Be that as it may, Lunar Bahamut remains an incalculable powerful foe whom our soldiers will struggle to best through mere force of arms. With the aid of the Scions, however, I believe they will fare rather better, assuming that is you are ready to take the field. An airship awaits to bear you to the front. Pray set forth as soon as you are able. I, meanwhile, shall continue to coordinate our forces. Till next we meet, may the 12 bless and keep you. It was kind of her to speak with us personally. You may be certain she has no shortage of other responsibilities. I, for one, am inclined to do as her grace requests, lest we forget Arnvald and Fordola and Paglethon on reconnaissance. The sooner we save the day, the better their chances. Indeed. To the airship, then. Greetings, we've been expecting you. But say the word and we shall depart from Paglethon at once. Alright, as soon as we get a Q pop, we'll see you in there. Alright, we got a Q pop. Oh, very cool. Now I realize why the kobolds are helping us.
What took you so long? The Amalja are in trouble. Let's split up.
Split up then. You got our voice lines in the cuts. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, no, you don't.
Get him, Estinian. Get him, Tiamat. Lothrium. Lunar Bahamut. Disgusting ass looking ass face. Double dun 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 duns. It's because of the gear that dropped.
Antal an in Eisdo. Antal afa. Snalask en. Ash an. Dran mira.
Noble warriors, the dragons chose their friends well. Long have our peoples waged war, but no more. Your fallen lie beside our own. By our words and deeds shall we honor their sacrifice.
You would make peace with Ulda, then?
The enemy of our enemy is our friend. And you have proven yourselves worthy of our trust. It is the Guardians who are deserving of our fury. I shall see that my brethren learn the truth of this day, and rally as many as possible to the cause, till we meet again.
And thus did we make allies of the Amalja.
It would certainly seem that way. The Sultana will be pleased. Let's go and give her the good news, shall we?
Sometime earlier, inside the Palgothan Tower.
What in Ralga's name happened here?
The gods only know. But you can bet these poor sods aren't here by choice.
Quickly! We've got to get them free!
Get back!
No! What have I done?
It's too late for them! We're leaving, now!
No! Don't you dare! We came together and we're leaving together!
What the fuck? That's how you end it? Just straight to this? Oh my gosh. Alright, we'll continue in the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed watching. And like and subscribe, please. And we'll see you in the next one.